And if that's not something
Yeah.
you can handle, then I would suggest get out of it.
Nobody understood what the actual problem was, because the
Mm-hmm.
problem was that the outsider was being treated as an outsider.
Okay,
Mario
so
Ricardo Hernández de la García.
le dijiste a tu madre, mamá.
Hey, Tithers.
Hi,
Welcome to another
Tithers.
episode of Hither and Tither. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here, especially with this being like one of the first podcast episodes that we are putting out there. We have been so overwhelmed with the love that we've been receiving from our personal friends, like people texting us, people messaging us, like how funny we are, how good of chemistry we have, like all these such positive things that just keep us going, right? We keep texting each other, right? Wow, we can actually do this. This is a thing. This is so doable because
Yeah.
you guys have been listening. That's crazy. That's
Yeah, and
crazy.
it's really cool because we are reconnecting with some people from our past as well. And I love that because it's sometimes it's, life gets the best of us and we lose track of what other people are doing, but this has just brought back people into our lives, and I think it's just amazing what technology can do. So I'm super, super happy, and I'm super grateful for all of the love. And it's the craziest thing because you and I do this and start editing it and put all the information out there. It's like hearing
Whoa.
ourselves talking,
Yeah.
and then we're just like repeating the same thing over and over again. And it's like, oh my gosh. But then actually sitting down and watching it, it's really fun. I
Yeah,
like
it
that a
is.
lot.
I will say the amount of times we have to edit a like or an out of this is a problem.
Yeah.
It's a big problem. Oh my gosh. But
Maybe we can like play some bets or something and be like, I think Yo's gonna say it more. I think M's gonna say it more. Especially for those of you Titer veterans that have already been watching episode 1 and 2. Oh my goodness.
troopers. If you
Troopers.
guys can catch on to the amount of times that I yawn, I will be very impressed.
Yeah, that happens
A
quite a
lot.
bit. Quite a bit.
One thing that I really
No,
like,
just kidding.
no, don't do that. They're contagious. One of the things that that made me the most flattered or that made me feel the most warm and fuzzy inside was when no one was really surprised that we did this. Like once we posted, everyone was like, "You would." You
You would.
totally would. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Because I feel like I was made for this too. And I feel like Emily was meant to be my counterpart for this. Like, it just feels good to know that people saw this coming and that people are willing to listen to it because they know that it's going to be fun and entertaining. And hopefully
Yeah.
we meet those expectations, right? Like, I just
Yes.
loved those
Yes.
comments.
So, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all of you who have subscribed, and those of you who have given us likes and who have left comments. And I would only encourage you guys to keep going because the feedback that we get is what helps us to be better and to be, I don't want to say I don't want to say more motivated, but just because we are motivated, but
Yeah, we're
it
going to
just
keep
helps
going.
us know what it is that you guys want to hear. Johanna, actually, she said that she wanted for us to talk about living in a border town, and
Oh,
it's on our list. That is definitely something that we are super excited to talk
yeah.
about because living in Laredo is definitely a one of a kind experience.
Yes, it
So we're
is.
super excited to
Talk about
actually
that.
talk about that and
Share
share that
it.
with you
Yeah.
guys. So thank you so much for that comment. I think that's, like I said, that's what keeps us, you know, connected. And yeah, thank you for engaging with us. So with that being said, there's something new that we want to try with you today. And for those of you who know us, we try our best to live very positive lifestyles and to really watch our language. So we are bringing to you something that you already know and something that we like to call AITA.
I
Now, some
love
of you,
AITA.
I love AITAs, and some of you may be wondering what that is, but because Yo and I, this is something that we love to do with each other, we thought, why not just add that onto our podcast? So, you want to explain?
Yeah. AITA is AITA, right?
There you go.
Am I the meanie? And so we just decided to call it AITA because it kind of brings in our Latin heritage into it, right? And we kind of do like the gasps in Spanish in the middle of them, right? Like the right? So we just thought it was a fun segment to just call AITA and
Los frijoles.
las tortillas. So in this segment of AITA, the story is called AITA for leaving my boyfriend's B-Day dinner after his mom took my seat.
La silla.
Spanish, yeah, gasp, la silla. Okay,
Mario
so
Ricardo
no,
Hernández de la García.
le dijiste a tu madre, mamá. That's my actual grandma. Le dijiste a tu madre, señora Teresa, que se sentara en mi silla. Okay, OP, 25 years old, female, boyfriend, male, 27, mother-in-law. I don't know how old she is, but mother-in-law, right?
Unidentified.
Yes. So she has been dating this guy for a while, and they're going to his birthday dinner. And it was like a fancy dinner, right, at a restaurant. And his family, she kind of put it in italics. They're very close.
Her boyfriend and the mom.
Well, the family.
Oh, and okay.
The family is really close. Normally, you would think that's a good thing, but I feel like the way she typed it in is already telling, right? That there's a little bit of a problem. Anyway, then she continues to say that she gets to the restaurant. She's like, "Hey, here's your gift," blah blah blah. And then she was like, there was my boyfriend sitting down, and then the mother-in-law, and then me, and then everyone else, right, around the table. And then she stood up and said, "Let's see how you do with a little bit of distance." She stands up, comes up to me, scooches me over, and is like, move along. And so she was like, so I just stood up and moved over to the next table or to the next chair, and she sat right in between us. She was like, I felt icky about it. I felt weird about it. So I just kind of was there. But then 5 minutes went by, and I just grabbed my purse and I said, you know what? I think it's time for me to go. And I left. Oh, and everyone, when the mother-in-law did that, everyone laughed at the table. Everyone laughed, including her boyfriend. And so, yeah. Anyway, so then she stood up and left. She was like, my boyfriend was blowing up my phone. And then I took some time to cool down, this and that, because my mother-in-law has made comments and remarks like this in the past. Like, she has said stuff like, I hope I don't lose my son to some girl. Or like, she also has made comments to him like, she's taking up your time. And stuff like that, right? Like, that's stuff that just has bothered her. But she was like, I have tried everything in my power to be good to this lady, to be respectful, to get her on my good side, to be on, like, do all these things so that there isn't that tension. She was like, but all of that work has been in vain. Like, it does not work. Anyway, finally answered my boyfriend's call, and he told me that I was overreacting and that I need to learn how to take a joke. Hello. And then that she was just kind of like, Aita, for leaving my boyfriend's party because my mother-in-law took my chair. What would you do?
I mean, I know for a fact that I have been in situations, and I really appreciate that OP took the time. I mean, yes, she walked out, and obviously everybody is going to see that as a terrible thing. But she really just needed time for herself because that hurt her. And not only did the mother-in-law make her feel a certain way, but then everybody laughed about it. So as it is, you are the outsider as the girlfriend because you are with his family. And so you not only are you with his family, but you know that the matriarch, like the important person in that family, doesn't like you or has certain feelings towards you, right? Because we don't really know a lot of the background or context. But
And also with like a close family like that, the parents
mhm,
mean a lot. Like
yeah,
the actual parents, like I feel like the boys are very protective of their mothers. The
mhm,
daughters are usually daddy's girls, like very, very the way
yeah.
she said it, it was like it just seemed like they're very close.
Their close relationship, probably her actions towards the girlfriend make sense and they're okay with that because in their family unit that's okay.
Mhm.
um but I personally, I'm going to say that she is not Aita simply because she acted based on her feelings. Now, were her actions the best? Probably not. She could have stuck it out. She could have, just laughed about it just like everybody
Mhm.
else and then had a conversation with him later. But I think at that point too, like maybe you get to a point where like enough is enough. And also she had to take a stand for herself. So is she Aita? I don't think so, but I also don't think that the way she reacted was the most logical way. And
Yeah.
I say that knowing that I have also done things like that where I'm like, this is dumb. Why am I doing this right now? But your emotions just get the best of you that you do it anyway.
Yeah, I want to think that what I would have done, or what in my perfect world, and if I'm in all of my five senses, and I would have had time to process it at that very exact time, right? And my emotions weren't all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I would have done is I would have just stuck through it. And
Yeah.
then again, you said it like enough is enough. So, and we know for a fact that it has been done in the past as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
that there has been remarks and stuff like that from the mother-in-law. And honestly, just have a conversation with my boyfriend about it and already know that going into this conversation, we might break up because if he's not willing to change that aspect, knowing that it already is a problem and he
Mm-hmm.
hasn't changed that, then it's probably gonna continue. And if that's not something you
Yeah.
can handle, then I would suggest get out of it, right?
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
needs a girl that is going to be able to handle those kinds of things, or he's going to have to change, right? So that's why you would need to have that conversation with him and see if that's something that both of you are willing to see where the boundaries lie, or like see
Mm-hmm.
what compromises we can do, right? Like you do this, I do this, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing that was said, I kind of forgot about this part. The boyfriend did say, I'm not talking to you, like on the on the phone call conversation when she finally called back, and we're not talking until you apologize to my mother.
For what?
Yeah, exactly. For
Yeah.
overreacting.
Mm-hmm. And see, like it goes back to and that's the thing that I feel like a lot of us have been in situations like that, where we feel a certain way already and then exterior forces come and make that feeling worse. And
Yep.
so I think that's the bigger problem because they're so close as a family that they couldn't even understand how her feelings were being impacted. And instead it was like, oh, you disrespected my mother. What did she didn't do anything wrong because they're so used to it, not taking into consideration
Right.
her.
How someone else could have felt about her actions. It just, I don't know. I think there's just things that you can and can't absorb, and you're just gonna have to learn that, hey, you know what? I'm sensitive in certain areas, And sometimes when someone is isolating me or someone is being, what is that mother-in-law doing?
I mean, I just think she's
Excluding
just
her.
being
It's almost,
inconsiderate.
yeah, it's almost like she's trying to exclude her or she's trying to get her away from her safe place, like from her
Hmm.
son because she's trying, I don't know what she was trying to do, but
I don't know though. I don't know if it's so hard because we don't have a ton of context, but I don't know if I
yeah.
can necessarily say that the mother was trying to be rude because I know you said like, oh, she said, let's see if you could do some distance or something like that, like how
Yeah.
you would do, like, what were the mother's intentions in doing that, and why did he feel like she owed the mom uh an apology, I would really
I
like to
see.
understand like what the mother's perspective was in doing this, because if she was just like, oh,
Like
trying
if
to
she
be
was,
funny and then she overreacted, then
yeah, well, but that's not the, in my eyes, if there's something that I can't do is disrespect, like that is just
hmm
something I will not stand for. To me, you taunting me with, let's see how you do
hmm
with this, like, who are
yeah,
you to test me
yeah,
in certain situations? I don't care what you're doing. Why wasn't there a conversation? Did I ask you, hey, let's
hmm
test my connection with your son? Or if you've noticed that I'm codependent with your son, or if you've noticed that our relationship isn't that good, if you want me to personally connect with you only or with your daughter or with your son, like why don't we have a conversation about that? Like don't
hmm
just push me into something that's uncomfortable
hmm
without my knowledge.
yeah.
But
mm
again, there is a lot of context missing. So, of
and,
course,
and maybe there is, and I think what it comes down to, and I think as we've been having this conversation, something that I really would encourage others to do is to get to know themselves. Because I think that's why sometimes we tend to react in certain ways, is because we don't understand our feelings. And that is such a big thing that I have learned as I have gotten older. Less young, as I've gotten less young, because I'm still young, right?
as the years have
Um,
gone by.
Just a couple. But I think that's something that I have learned is to truly understand kind of those one of those moments where you're like, okay, find five things that you can see, four things that you can hear, three things that you can touch, and like figure out what really is going on in your surroundings before you react. Because it's like, let me think about me before I focus on somebody else. I think OP in that moment was definitely thinking about how they were being impacted, and it's like, yes, understand what you're going through right now, but at the same time, like remove yourself from that and assess the situation.
Yep.
Assess the situation.
When I also think that when you get to know yourself, you get to know what people you mesh with
Mm-hmm.
because maybe they're just like that, right? Like that is the family. You're not going to change the whole
Mm-hmm.
family. And
Yeah.
it would be wrong of you to also want to divide that family, right? Like to divide the son or your boyfriend from their family just because you think that their comments are out of line. Um,
Yeah.
so learn to know what people you mesh with and date that people, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
don't try to fit in with the wrong crowd because they're always going to say the wrong thing. They're always going to
Yeah.
do something wrong if you are not with the right people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Aita, for leaving the party, no, good for you for standing up for yourself. But if you don't mesh well with them, I wouldn't try to fit your puzzle piece into that because
Yeah.
you do marry into the family when that happens. As much
Yeah.
as people would like to say like you don't marry into the family or their family is crazy so he just needs to go away from it, like that's wrong
Yeah.
of you to make that choice for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I have to agree with you. On the scale of Aita, I would say no, not Aita.
Yeah.
Um, I think OP just needs to get out of that relationship, and hopefully they did, and just kind of find somebody that's going to give you the respect that you deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone that fits your needs. And I hope that that guy finds someone that meshes well into his family too, right? Because if anyone is Aita, I think it might have been the boyfriend. I think you could have had better communication skills than just, you better apologize, or, and I'm not talking to you until that happens.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, with all that being said, I'm grateful that I have you in my life
I know,
because
me
I feel
too.
like we understand each other.
We do understand
Um,
each other. We've grown a lot, and I'm glad that in the growth, we still fit.
and there's so many times where like I'm just like rambling and then I feel like I have to explain to you like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing this, and you're just like, I don't even know if you're paying attention to me. You're just like, I know she just needs to ramble right now. Like, I'm just gonna let her do what she's gotta do. And like, I think that's so perfect because we have been able to understand each other's needs. And I think everybody deserves that. We understood that, there did come a point in our relationship where we needed to maybe separate from each other. And I
Yeah.
know that that was not the easiest decision. And again, I don't know if that was the best decision because, we did spend so much time without each other. But in the end, we grew a lot. And that will be for another episode where we will
Yeah.
talk about relationships. And
If OP is listening to this, I am so sorry that your feelings were hurt, girl. But learn learn from this experience, and don't hold grudges. Just learn and move on.
and there's same thing goes to you because we all go through it. There are always times in our lives where we act a little irrational maybe because we think they're being irrational, and we just go based off our emotions. So we all go through it. It's okay. It's a part of life. And we hope that if you are going through something right now, that you will feel that you have somebody who loves you. And
Because
call
you know
us if
what?
you need anything, Tethers.
Yeah, because you have us, you have your Tithers, you have your bigger Tither group, and then you have God. Overall, you have God, and He is always going to be willing to listen to you. But I know sometimes it's cliche, um and it's hard to listen to Him speak to us. So if you need something a little more tangible, turn on the Hither and Tither podcast.
So you have us theaters, and we thank you so much for having our backs as well. Before we finish, we wanted to give a few shout outs to some of you who have been supporting us, and you have just been super amazing. I want to give a shout out to Kiki first because she has been our theater from day one. Ever since she found out that I was going to have a podcast, she was like, where do I subscribe?
Where's the
And
merch?
Kiki, she wanted the merch already. It's coming, girl. I'm gonna get you something. Don't worry. She's my little Velcro kid. I love you so much, Keeks.
And I would like to thank probably my roommate, Avery. Is she's more savvy with social media, and she just keeps me going. She's like, this is how you do this is how you do that, this is what you should post, this is what you shouldn't. And then we were watching the episode yesterday, and she was like, you should change this around and tell Emily that this and you this. And so I think she has been very great for me to just be like, okay, yeah, I can do this, I can do this.
She's
So
younger than us,
shout
but
out.
she's our little manager. Thanks, Avery.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, girl. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Adios.
Adios.